Harry meets Hagrid. Harry Potter is the wizard child born to very powerful wizards. Unfortunately, the evil wizard Lord Voldemort kills them when Harry was just a year old. Upon being orphaned, he is sent away with his only remaining family, the Dursleys. All of three of them, Aunt Petunia, Uncle Vernon, and their child, Dudley, treat Harry very badly. They also never told him how he lost his parents or that he was a wizard. The Harry Potter story unfolds in a series of 7 novels. Here is an excerpt from the first novel. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Rubeus Hagrid, keeper of keys and grounds of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, comes to visit Harry on his 11th birthday and asks him to join Hogwarts. So let us start the story and know what happens next. Smash! The door was hit with such force that it was swung clean off its hinges and with a deafening crash landed flat on the floor. A giant of a man was standing in the doorway. His face was almost completely hidden by a long shaggy mane of hair and a wild tangled beard, but you could make out his eyes glinting like black beetles under all the hair. The giant squeezed his way into the hut, stopping so that his head just brushed the ceiling. He bent down, picked up the door, and fitted it easily back into its frame. The noise of the storm outside dropped a little. He turned to look at them all. Couldn't make us a cup of tea, could you? It's not been an easy journey. He strode over to the sofa where Dudley sat frozen with fear. Bad job, yeah, great lump, said the stranger. Dudley squeaked and ran to hide behind his mother, who was crouching terrified behind Uncle Vernon. And here's Harry, said the giant. Harry looked up into the fire's wild, shadowy face and saw that the beetle eyes were crinkled in a smile. Last time I saw you, you was only a baby, said the giant. Yeah, look at a lot like her, Dad, but yeah, you have got your mom's eyes. Uncle Vernon made a funny rasping noise. I demand that you leave at once, sir, he said. You are breaking and entering. Ah, shut up, Dursley, said the giant. He reached over the back of the sofa, jerked the gun out of the Uncle Vernon's hand, bent it into a knot as easily as if it had been made of rubber, and threw it into a corner of the room. Uncle Vernon made another funny noise, like a mouse being trodden on. Anyway, Harry, said the giant, turning his back on the Dursleys. A very happy birthday to ya. Got some at fur. Yeah, here, I make the sat on it at some point, but it will taste alright. From an inside pocket of his black overcoat, he pulled a slightly squashed box. Harry opened it and trembling fingers. Inside was a large sticky chocolate cake with Happy Birthday Harry written on it in green icing. Harry looked up at the giant. He meant to say thank you, but the words got lost on the way to his mouth, and what he said instead was, "Who are you?" The giant chuckled. True, I haven't introduced myself. Rubeus Hagrid, keeper of keys and grounds at Hogwarts. He held out an enormous hand and shook Harry's whole arm. What about the tea then? Yeah, he said, rubbing his hands together. I would not say no to her, somewhat else it have got it, mind. His eyes fell on the empty crate with the shriveled crisp packets in it and he snorted. He bent down over the fireplace. They couldn't see what he was doing, but when he drew back a second later, there was a roaring fire there. It filled the whole damp hut with flickering light, and Harry felt the warmth wash over him as though he would sunk into a hot bath. The giant sat back down on the sofa, which sagged under his weight, and began taking all sorts of things out of the pockets of his coat. A copper kettle, a squashy package of sausages, a pokers, a teapot, several chipped mugs, and a bottle before starting to make tea. Soon the hut was full of the sound and smell of sizzling sausages. Nobody said a thing while the giant was working, but as he sliced the first six fat, juicy, slightly burned sausages from the poker, Dudley fidgeted a little. Uncle Vernon said sharply, "Don't touch anything he gives you, Dudley." The giant chuckled darkly. "You're great pudding of a son done. Need feathering anymore, Dursley? Don't worry." He passed the sausages to Harry, who was so hungry he had never tasted anything so wonderful. But he still couldn't take his eyes off the giant. Finally, as nobody seemed about to explain anything, he said, "I am sorry, but I still don't really know who you are." The giant took a gulp of tea and wiped his mouth with the back of his head. "Call me Hagrid," he said. "Everyone does. And, like I told you, I am keeper of keys at Hogwarts. You will know all about Hogwarts, of course." No," said Harry. Hagrid looked shocked. From J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.